first live edition of Geek-Span. Skip, we have had so many technical issues the last 3 days. How does it feel to be live on the channel for the first live edition of Geek-Span?
Like a breath of fresh air. Like we're so excited about this news and want to talk about it. And, you know, we fought through every technical issue in every way we could. And finally, we were just like, you know what? Bill O'Reilly, F it. We'll do it live. And here we are.
Doing it live, baby. So if you're here with us live, thank you very much for joining us. It's meant to be on watched on a replay, but we love having the live guests as well. I hope everyone's ready for their Geek Culture 411. Are you ready for your first topic?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. DC Comics just announced James Tynion IV is replacing much maligned writer Tom King on their flagship Batman series. There were plenty of rumors before the announcement, but Tynion's name rarely came up. Skip, did DC place their most important comic series in the right hands?
More and more each day, I'm feeling like they did. The thing that got me, I'm going to go ahead and say it, the thing that got me most comfortable with it is I saw online that he had posted after this news came out, hey, what does everybody want to see from a Batman story? And in my personal opinion, like, I think that's fantastic because obviously the current person who will remain nameless doesn't seem to really give too much of a damn outside of writing a novella to his wife. And I think marriage is beautiful. And I think that's fantastic. But when you clock in for a job and comics is a job, you need to be delivering to the people that are paying your bills. So I really appreciate that Tynion even came out and asked us what we wanted. And I had literally, I can't remember if it was Ash or if it was a Gateway, but or Perch. One of them had posted something, and I was like, it was like a screenshot, and it was very bad, like dialogue. And I was just like, I don't see myself buying a Batman comic book anytime soon. And then literally, I saw Tynion post that, and I was like, thank you so much. I'm gonna buy your first book. So I'm feeling more and more comfortable every day. What about you, Wes? From what you know of Tynion, and we talked about the Ninja Turtles book that he did, that was pretty cool. How are you feeling about it?
Well, yeah, Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is wrapping up its third volume. Right now, it's probably the second best comic at DC. You know, Tynion's not my favorite writer, you know, but when he hits it, he normally hits it really good. You know, the bad thing is I'm not the biggest fan of his Detective Comics run. He was the writer when Rebirth launched alongside King's Batman series, and it was full of drama. It was all about the Bat family. It wasn't really about Batman doing detective work, so it wasn't really my bag, you know. And there's lots of like time travel and stuff like that. So if he sticks with Batman, and he's got a great artist, so it's going to look phenomenal. If he sticks with Batman, he does Detective Comics, you know, and brings the family stuff in here or there, I think it's going to be just fine. I don't see any reason why James Tynion can't do great. And the best part, he's not Tom King.
I was just getting ready to say that. I was like, at the very least, he's not Tom King anymore. So how bad can it be? You know?
Yeah, it's going to be a step up. And yeah, I think it's great that he's reaching out to the readers and the fans and saying, hey, you know, what do you want from Batman? You know, I know he's got his first story arc. It sounds like it's all mapped out, but you know, it sounded like overwhelmingly people wanted detective stories and they wanted to return to a stoic, a confident Batman that's actually competent. So, as long as he sticks along with those general lines, I think it would do great.
I think so, too. I'm looking forward to it now.
Awesome. Are you ready for the next topic?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Disney CEO Bob Iger's recent memoir revealed George Lucas was not pleased with Disney's Star Wars direction after they bought his outline for a new trilogy and all but ignored it. When Disney first met to discuss the future of their franchise with Lucas, director J.J. Abrams, screenwriter Michael Arndt, and Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy at Skywalker Ranch, he expressed disappointment that his story was being discarded. Should Disney have thrown out George Lucas's new trilogy outline?
It's hard to say if they should have thrown it out, if they should have thrown it out or not, because I have heard leaks and rumors of what it was. And to be honest, I'll say if those rumors are true, I would have enjoyed it much better than the sequel movies that we've gotten so far. I didn't hate The Force Awakens, but I didn't love it. I didn't like it. I thought it was very okay. And I wanted something different. I didn't want a rehash of the OG trilogy. Of course, The Last Jedi, shot beautifully and incredibly. Ambitious ideas, didn't feel like Star Wars to me. Tried too much at Marvel humor. Let one be one and let the other be other. but that's a little Easter egg to what we're going to talk about a little bit later. Overall, I think the key thing here, outside of what I wanted, is what should have happened. And they should have treated him and respected him a lot better than what Bob Iger himself, admitted that he did in his little book, the little excerpt that came out recently. They should have, you treat the creator better. And it sounds like that might be happening going forward. Wes, what are some of your thoughts around, whether they should have kept the outline or not?
Well, I think they made a huge mistake, because the biggest problem people had with The Last Jedi was that it didn't respect the legacy characters. And there's no way that George Lucas would have treated Princess Leia and Han Solo and Luke Skywalker poorly. And in fact, there was a tremendous amount of work going on between Lucas and the proposed director for the third film. I can't remember his name. He's the guy that did Jurassic World. And it was all going to be all Luke Skywalker in this great ending arc for his story. And Rian Johnson just destroyed it by subverting expectations and changing what the heart of Star Wars is. And it's all about the character and the hero's journey. And he just decided he wanted to do something funny. I'm going to change it up for a new generation. Well, guess what, buddy? Disney didn't buy Star Wars to make movies. They bought Star Wars to sell merchandise and to sell people on going to Disneyland. I have 2 children. Guess what? I don't buy them any Star Wars toys featuring the new characters, because I hate them and I make the money. What do you have to say about that?
I have to say that's how I raise my kids. I mean, absolutely, man. The OG trilogy laid out the foundation. And Phil, how you feel about the prequel trilogy? I personally am a fan. Maybe it's because, I mean, obviously I saw the OG trilogies first. I was born in 85, so wasn't no prequels. I grew up with the OG trilogy, but when they came out, the prequels, I actually liked them. And of course, I loved how much we got to see of the Jedi, the lightsaber fights. We got to, get to see the Sith and watch all that stuff build. But same thing in my house. I've watched the OG trilogy with my daughters. We haven't watched the prequels yet, but we have watched some of the newer Star Wars movies, and they didn't like them. They didn't like The Last Jedi. And my daughters ask for a lot of toys, and as much as a single father can, I provide them for them. But Star Wars toys is not one of the things that they ever ask about.
Yeah, it's just a complete waste of the world's most valuable IP, because Rian Johnson wanted to make some funny joke about how he's going to subvert expectations and turn the whole Star Wars galaxy on its head. Way to go, buddy. You cost Disney a few $1 billion.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, because they paid $4 billion for it, and literally they cost him that night. Thank goodness that we got facts are facts. The Last Jedi made over $1 billion. So the $4 billion that they've paid so far, they're close to getting that back. But we all know, Wes, like you said, their projections were the merch and the toys, because that's what George Lucas made all his money off of, all the merch. And because they decided to go off some random tangent and not really talk to the creators like a Kevin Feige would, now here we are. And it was Colin Trevorrow. Trevorrow was going to be the director for the third one. Now here's something else, Wes. We're going to really get nerdy and dig a little deeper. This is where Curtis starts to go off on his little tangents. But remember, George Lucas is from Modesto, California. I live in Sacramento, California. It's Stockton and Modesto. It's just 90 minutes away. American Graffiti and all that was based off of his time growing up in Modesto. Colin Trevorrow is from Oakland. And guess what? Skywalker Ranch is in Marin County, which is only from Oakland. It's about maybe a 35-minute drive, a 25-minute drive. So Colin Trevorrow, growing up here in NorCal, where I'm at, Northern California, how much he loved that trilogy. And like you said, he had a dope, incredible thing set up for Luke Skywalker. And the creative differences that happened between him and Kathleen Kennedy are when he finally read what Rian Johnson did and said, hey, Kathy, remember when we sat down and I was talking to you about what I wanted to do, and I said, I'm going to do this whole big thing for Luke, like this fireworks type thing. Why didn't you tell me that this Ruin was going to kill him? That's the creative differences. In the dumbest way possible. That's the creative differences, and that's why Colin Trevorrow isn't on the movie anymore. Quote me.
Yeah, it's terrible. All right, we're going to move on.
I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. Time to move on.
All right. Speaking of Star Wars, it appears the MCU frontman Kevin Feige is going to dip his toes into a galaxy far, far away. Word is he's in line to produce an upcoming Star Wars film. Is this good news for Star Wars fans?
Here's the crazy thing. I think it absolutely is. And like as bad of a place as Star Wars is in, and let's acknowledge there's plenty of people that loved The Force Awakens and that loved The Last Jedi. I would never try to change their minds. I just have a strong difference of opinion. But this is the one thing where like the lovers and the haters of this current trilogy are all ecstatic. Everybody's excited about this because there's a track record. We've seen that Kevin Feige does fan service, pays attention and references the source material from name all the way down to story elements, but still makes changes, creative changes that are good where necessary in order to make it something that it's like, because the flip side is, let's be honest, do we really just want to see an exact rehash of a specific comic story? We've already heard that story. There has to be some tweaks that catch us with the, oh. So Kevin Feige is perfect at that. And no secret really, he's a Star Wars nerd and fan. So imagine a Kevin Feige produced, Russo brothers directed Star Wars movie. Oh, dog, I'm with it. The Russo brothers already put Star Wars references in the Community TV show. Patton Oswalt did that filibuster that one time on that one episode where he was like, kept talking about Star Wars. I think this is the best thing that could have happened. And it came at an interesting time where Sony and Spider-Man had just recently split and Sony was trying to put shade on Marvel and Disney's name. And then, interesting. Why don't we, I don't know. Why don't we go ahead and put Kevin Feige over the Star Wars thing now a little deeper? Maybe we hire Tom Holland to play in a Star Wars role. What do you think about that, Sony?
Wow. So what Wes thinks is 3 years ago, this would have been the most amazing news that you could have ever told me. But after the announcement of Phase 4 for the MCU, not so fast. Thor, Love and Thunder. Are you kidding me? He signed off on that crap, man. It's no way yet. I don't know. And plus, the way Thor was just treated in Thor Ragnarok, that was a joke show compared to what the series started out as. Endgame is almost impossible to rewatch. Like, it was fun in the theater, and the end of it's good, but it's actually not that good of a movie. So I don't think his most recent MCU films have been great. But if you had told this news to me 3 years ago, I would have done cartwheels. I might have ripped my shirt off and ran a circle around here. I would have been celebrating so hard, but. Kevin Feige, the shine's coming off Kevin Feige as of late, especially with the MCU Phase 4 news.
Quick, who's got a time machine? Let's go back 3 years and announce it so Wes can rip his shirt off and run around.
I would do it. I was still in the Air Force then, so I might have even been ripped a little bit. But
dang it, we're 3 years too late, everybody. Sorry, everybody, we're 3 years too late. I have a difference of opinion. I've with the exception of like Love and Thunder. I don't know how it's going to go. Truth be told, though, I'm a Taika Waititi fan. I'm one of those rare people that, like, when people were bashing Thor 1 and Thor 2, I actually like both of those movies. Like, not just like a little bit. Like, I like them. I don't think they're nearly as bad as what people project, but everybody's entitled to their own decisions. I liked Thor Ragnarok as well. I actually really enjoyed it. And I was reading Jason Aaron's Unworthy Thor at that time, which, although I'm not in love with the whole Jane Foster being Thor, which isn't new, honestly. That was a What If comic, like I want to say back in the 70s. So even that idea really isn't new, but I wasn't a huge fan of the comic itself. There was some good writing in it. For the most part, no. I really loved the Unworthy Thor series. And I almost feel like because Jane Foster Thor was going on, not enough people read Unworthy Thor. It was actually incredible writing. And he did some really interesting things regarding Hela and Death and Thanos that I thought was going to transfer to the movies and didn't end up doing it, but it was really incredible. I'm looking at it like this. I think that he's set up, and I think he's still going to help, but I think they had already started talking about this when they saw Star Wars going awry, and I think they saw how bad it finally got. And I think that he's going to sign off on those. He did, and I'll give him that, but I don't think he's going to be working on them. I think they're going to completely pull him away. He's not going to be paying attention to Marvel nearly as much, and it is Star Wars that I think Kathleen Kennedy is going to handle the business side, and I think he's going to be doing all the creative side. And whoever was under him, which the name came out quite a bit, I can't remember, but I think that person is going to be the one that oversees Marvel now and just basically kind of, what do you call it? Consults Kevin Feige. But I respect how you feel about it, Wes, and I respect that you don't like where it went. I loved Endgame. I'm one of those people, call me a fanboy. I cried almost throughout the whole entire movie, and definitely at the end. Every single time I watched in the theaters, and I saw it in the theaters 5 times. So
Man, you're crazy.
I am. You already know I'm a crazy. All y'all know I'm crazy. Skip's crazy, but I'm excited for it. I really want to see it. And here's my thing. I look at it like the Tynion versus Tom King thing. How much worse could it possibly be than what Kathleen Kennedy's done?
I'll give you that. But, you know, I will say the person that's underneath Feige right now on for the MCU recently said that she thought the X-Men name was outdated and maybe they should be the X people.
Was that the? I thought she was another producer, but is she under Kevin Feige? I thought she was on the same level, but she didn't hold as much.
She's had a hand in producing every MCU movie that's been made.
Okay. Yeah, if it's her, I'm very concerned because I watched that interview and the look on her. She was convinced of the nonsense she was saying, and I was like, oh, I hope she doesn't have much to do. Uh-oh. All right, here we go.
All right, let's move on with some more Feige news. Also on the Kevin Feige front, Disney and Sony have reached a new agreement to keep Spider-Man in the MCU. Feige will receive a producer credit on the third Spider-Man film. Disney now receives 25% of revenues. Spider-Man will appear in one additional upcoming MCU film, and Disney maintains exclusive merchandising rights. Could the public pressure applied by Feige have gone any better?
You know, this is the thing that we were kind of seeding in the Easter egg we were working towards. I think I'm ecstatic. I'm sure majority of us are ecstatic. If we're not, that's fine. And I would and please put it in the chat why you're not excited about that. That's a conversation that would be fun to have. But I think it's ecstatic. But the funniest thing is, same thing. Like, it's interesting how, like, let's watch the sequence of events, right, Wes? So it gets announced, what is it, like almost 2 weeks ago, that no deal, no go, no more Tom Holland in the MCU. Okay. And it really, really was a lot of Sony trying to put it back. Oh, Kevin Feige's too busy. Marvel just has him too busy. I'm sure he would like to do it, but Disney just has him too busy, so he doesn't have time. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a line. I know corporate speak. And then it flips back around to, oh, hey, just a few days ago, hey guys, Kevin Feige is going to be moving over to Star Wars. So now you're going to have to deal with us putting out not only Marvel movies around that time, but now we're going to put Star Wars movies out at the same time you put your Sony movies out. And let's see how you like that. What is it, like less than 48 hours later? White flag. Okay, we can do the deal. We'll do the deal. Man, that was power moves, bro. That's what that was.
Oh, yeah. Disney rolled over him because initially they wanted to up the revenue share from 25 to 50%. So they only got 25%. They still have all the merchandising rights. Feige gets the credit that he wants for the producer role. I don't see how this could have gone any better. Literally every fan was essentially in the MCU side because they didn't want Spider-Man to leave. And you know, and I can see that because he literally has been positioned to replace Iron Man, the most popular character in the MCU. So people didn't want to see him go. They wanted to see him in the next Avengers movie. And picture perfect power play on Disney's part. Feige knew exactly what he was doing, and they essentially got everything they wanted, and they're going to make even more money now. Yeah,
straight up. The mouse, you know, showed the Bozak, and Sony backed up, and that's a simple. And we are ecstatic. I am very happy.
All right, so we moving on to the next one.
Let's do it.
All right. Warner Brothers released a statement regarding the controversy surrounding their upcoming Joker film release. Make no mistake, neither the fictional character Joker nor the film is an endorsement of real-world violence of any kind, Warner Brothers said in the statement. It is not the intention of the film, the filmmakers, or the studio to hold this character up as a hero. Skip, what do you think about all the noise surrounding Joker?
You know, it is a delicate and a controversial topic. I like the fact that WB didn't take too long to respond to it. I don't have the biggest issue with what their response was, but I have a bigger issue with what Todd Phillips said and how he tried to deflect and tried to put it back on other filmmakers. Like, well, how can John Wick go and shoot up 300 people and he's seen as a hero? It's like, well, like Wes said, bro, like they killed his dog, man. Like, what do you want the guy to
do? He killed his dog.
Right, which was the dog that his wife gave him as she passed away from the terminal illness.
Dying gift.
Right. And let's also be very clear. We know John Wick is a villain, you know, and he plays the protagonist, but he's not a good guy. He's the Baba Yaga. He's the boogeyman.
He's the anti-hero. He's not the villain.
Thank you. He's the
hero that doesn't always do it correct. He's the Han Solo for a new generation.
He's the Han Solo for the new generation. But I just
Han always shot first.
That's right. Yeah, well, my friends turned on me when I added 7 frames in a movie just to show that Han Solo didn't shoot someone down in cold blood. Yeah, George, we know. We love you, George. Go in the corner for just a little bit. But yeah, it was a really bad idea. But the point is that I don't like how just Todd Phillips, own up to it. Just say, hey, these were creative decisions that we made. Of course, we don't condone this type of violence in real life. This is fiction. And even the people that like were part of the advocacy group that like wrote the letter, even they admitted it does not. We know that we're not saying that these movies encourage people and neckbeards and incels to go out and do these things to people. But the fact of the matter is the timing, and maybe maybe it wasn't in good taste to do it at this time. So, I mean, what more could WB do? The only thing, like I said, I don't have a problem with their response. I don't have a problem even with the advocacy group. I don't have the biggest issue with their letter and how they wrote it. Anybody go and read it. It's very professional and it's not like so damning. But Todd Phillips, the director, instead of just owning up to things, he wants to deflect and point fingers. And that's what I have a problem with overall.
All right. So my problem is with cancel culture. It's with the outrage hysteria culture. The movie hasn't even come out yet. Yes, it's been seen at some film festivals. We know that it is a hyper-violent movie. It's a Joker origin film. Yes, it's hyper-violent. But the intent of the film is not to go out there and inspire incels to be extremists and start gunning people down in movie theaters. Yes, there was a very tragic thing that happened one time, with a crazy person, and I can't believe that it happened. But there's no way anyone on this film was trying to inspire that. And there's no proof out there that this movie is going to inspire anyone to go to a movie theater and start gunning people down because now the Joker has inspired them to be hateful or violent. It's stupid. I hate cancel culture. I hate outrage culture. Take a breath. Take a chill pill, vanilla. It's just a freaking movie.
It's just a movie. It's entertainment. And yeah, to me, the cancel culture thing, the outrage culture thing, it's crazy to me. I just watched a very interesting video on Wisecrack about outrage and whatnot, which I'm actually going to send that to you, Wes. But yeah, man, that's the thing that bugs me overall. It's entertainment. Let's all be responsible. Let's not, get out of hand and fly off the handle out the gate. Let's have a good conversation and let's see what we can really make of this. But like you said, Wes, these days people don't want to have conversations. I don't know if they're too scared or
pre-outrage, man. They don't even wait for it.
They don't even
pre-outrage.
Pre-outrage. It's ridiculous. And I say all this being a person that I love Joaquin Phoenix. I love the River Phoenix. I love Walk the Line. I love Her is one of my favorite movies ever. I love Joaquin Phoenix, but I'm not one for gratuitous violence myself, and I'm not like one for nihilism. So I'm not going to be, I have no plans to watch the Joker movie, even when it comes out for rent. I have no plans. But but like Wes said, and me, what we have an issue with is the outrage culture, the cancel culture, especially before anybody has ever laid eyes on it outside of some press screenings and some festival screenings.
All right. I'm about to be made a hypocrite. Jonah Hill is being rumored to be the Riddler in the upcoming Matt Reeves Batman film. Skip. What the hell, man? Jonah Hill's the Riddler? Does that make any sense?
Riddle me this. Why the hell is Jonah Hill playing the Riddler and not the Penguin?
Exactly. He'd be the perfect young Penguin. He's not the Riddler. He's not sleight of frame. He's not quirky enough. It doesn't make any sense.
You just said it all, man. He's not sleight of frame, so the build doesn't match. The physicality of the character doesn't match. The personality of the character doesn't match. He would make a far better Oswald Cobblepot than he would a Riddler.
He was born. He should have been born Oswald Cobblepot. Why is he Jonah Hill anyway? It doesn't even make sense. He could be Danny DeVito's his long lost son. They kind of look alike, right?
Wham, wham. What do you say? I played this stinking city like a heart from hell. Oh, I love that line from Batman Returns. Yeah, man, they screwed the pooch on this casting. I almost hope that they almost like in sports where like you draft a player and like, oh, in college he was a shooting guard, but you're like, oh, he would be a really good point guard, and we draft him and then we just move him into the position that they need. Transition that man. If you don't pull him from Riddler on over to Penguin, then y'all lost. And I'm this whole because this is regarding the Batman movie that what's his name is doing, right? That one director,
Matt Reeves, with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, and I don't want to be quick to hate on Robert Pattinson because truth be told, I've seen this twice in my life already. It happened with Michael Keaton. Before Batman came out in Batman 89. So that happened. And everybody was like, he's the comedic actor. He's done like Beetlejuice and like all these rom-coms. Why would you get him to do the role? And to me, he did a fantastic Batman, as good as you can do in the 90s where like it was, the grim and dark era. But and then Heath Ledger. And I was on that train too. I loved Heath Ledger from like 10 Things I Hate About You and all that. It's like one of my favorite movies when I was like in high school. So, but when they casted him, I was like, no. And then he, to this day, in my personal opinion, has been the best Joker that we ever got. So I don't want to hop on Robert Pattinson so quick and just be like, what the heck? But it is in question. And now this is really in question. So I don't know what's going to be happening with this Matt Reeves movie.
Mm-hmm. We're not hopping on Robert Pattinson, but we are hopping on Jonah Hill as the Riddler. That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
All right. Let's get to the bonus topic this week. Skip, we're going to talk dream comic book movies. And I got to tell you, my dream comic book movie, it's X-Men. It's Murder World. It's a standalone film. It comes out for Halloween. It's a hard R. It stars Richard Madden, better known as Robb Stark from Game of Thrones, as Wolverine, or he's going to be the new Wolverine. And Michael C. Hall from Dexter fame steps in as my favorite villain arcade. What do you think about my idea for Murder World, the movie?
Dude, your castings alone, like the castings alone, I was like, oh my gosh, I completely see it. Especially not John C. Reilly. Michael C. Hall. I always get those two names mixed up. It's the C in the middle. Dude, perfect casting for that role. Like, man, dude, I'm telling you, hey, WB, Sony, Disney, I know you guys are watching. I seen you guys in the chat. You need to hire this man. I think it's fantastic, man. That's an incredible idea. And like you said, I think you said, now, did you say it was going to be within continuity or it was going to be like an Elseworlds one shot?
It's got to be an Elseworlds.
Okay.
We don't want to have to work with the MCU. We want a hard R. We want to go after that teen horror audience. We'll keep the same X-Men from X-Men Apocalypse. They're not going to be the MCU anyway. They don't matter. We got to have a good Wolverine. We got to have a great arcade, and we got to have a great fun horror movie with all kinds of hijinks. We got to have bumper cars that blow up if they hit each other. We need, sharks with lasers on them. Anything arcade could come up with to murder the X-Men and have them escape. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm with it. Sign me up. I mean, take my money, Wes. Take my freaking money. Well, I guess that rolls over into my idea, and I might have kind of already spoiled it by telling Wes to take my money. But your boy Kurt, I need that Blackest Night, baby. I need it. That's what I want. It doesn't have to be the whole tale, and of course not the tie-ins, but I just need them to take like chunks of the main storyline. And this one, I say, I would say it'd be Elseworlds, but the DCEU is so.
It's all Elseworlds. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? But man, I need to see that moment. And I have it as like one of my desktops on my computer where the rings get deputized and they pick the people for their reasons. Mira gets picked for the, I think Mira was Rage. Yeah, Mira was Rage. Wonder Woman was Sapphire. But I need that moment, and especially the one about the Atom, because me, being a Christian man, I just love the fact that he is like a minister, and I even love the fact that the Arrowverse actually did spin that in when I used to watch all those shows. They put that in, and I was like, good on you. But literally every time I read that book, bless your heart, Jeff Johns, for that part where it was like, Ray Park, you have great compassion. You will be a part of the Indigo tribe. And then he has to do the thing and then talk about oh gosh, I always get Insabanur, which is Apocalypse, mixed up with the Abin Sur. Is it Abin Sur? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. Who gave Hal his green ring? Yes. Oh, hey, have Venditti and Johns be consultants for the movie.
Absolutely, Venditti is great on Green Lantern. But yeah, I think my idea would be the culmination of a trilogy. You started out with Green Lantern Rebirth, you hit it up with Sinestro Core War, the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy, and then you finish it up with Darkest Night.
Wes, my facial expressions reminds me of that gif from Ed McMahon back in the Attitude Era when the lady was in the ring. Dude, when he was like, and then she thinking like, like that's how I feel about the idea, dude. That would be the perfect end to a trilogy, and Sinestro War would almost be like Empire Strikes Back.
Absolutely, man. It would be awesome.
Oh man.
But the DCEU wants to do Joker and Harley movies. They don't want to do anything cool like Green Lantern. It makes no sense to me.
They suck, man. Anyway, hey, WB, hire Wes. My idea was okay. His is better.
I'm waiting for your money. I'm available.
Well, when you're not doing Geek-Span and when we're not doing OTB. Okay.
when my YouTube commitments are off the table, I'm available for 2 or 3 hours a day, maybe. Yes, but I'll take your money.
All right. My money's coming. And WB, send some money. Send Wes a check. Okay. He's good for it.
All right. So I think that just about covers Geek-Span. Do you have anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Main thing I want to say is thank you to everybody that tunes in. It seems that we're getting really good feedback from the shows, from Outside the Bleed and from Geek-Span. So I just want to thank you guys for coming in, chatting with us, commenting, liking, and remember to share the video too. Like, put it on Twitter, retweet it. If we see it and you tag us, we're going to like it and we're going to retweet it too. So thanks for helping us get the word out. But most importantly, thanks for giving us your time and everything. And Wes and I are committed to keep bringing you content like this.
Absolutely. And thank you for everyone that joined us live today. We know it was impromptu. We didn't really promote it or anything. We had some technical issues. We decided to do it live, Bill Riley style. Thank you for being in the chat. Sorry I couldn't join you. I've got a whole list of things going over here to keep the show going, and there's only 2 of us, so there's not a whole lot of downtime. But I appreciate you so much for showing up live. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week for Outside the Bleed. We'll see you next week for a Geek-Span. This Saturday, Comics Aficionados. Sunday, we got a special X-Men panel with Perch and Doc. It couldn't be any crazier here on Thank You Critical YouTube, your go-to place for comic, geek culture, all that good stuff. Thank you very much. Salamat po.
And I'm out.
Uh-oh. It's time to dance. We have